Hello, welcome to my Lifestyle Chat channel. This is part 8 of Nuisance Neighbours, and in this video I'm going to be talking about how when the NHS and social services lie on people, when they lie on you, when they make up stories. That's what I'm talking about. So yeah, yesterday I was talking about when I was in Wolverhampton. I was in bedsit and I was pregnant with my son. And I was living above this dude who just had like strange behaviour, like harassing behaviour. I don't know what his issue was. I don't know what condition he had. But it was a bit disturbing living above him. And I had to get I had to log the details with Mill & Hart, the housing association that I was with. And with the police. Had to log some incidences with them. And why I'm talking about this is if you go and watch part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 and 7, Nuisance Neighbours, I'm explaining how basically I was talking about how I've been served an eviction notice of the area that I'm living, where I am at the moment. And I said I'm going to explain how I ended up here in the first place, which is I'm in a 1-bedroom flat above the shops in the busy town centre. And I said, you know what, I'm going to retract and talk about how I managed to get here, basically how I'm here. Yeah, so this is what I've been doing in these series of these videos. So to catch up, go and watch the other ones if you're interested. So I quite like that. It's quite nice, isn't it, like that? So let's do like that. I like that. Okay, so so the thing is, I ended up leaving that bedsit and moving back to, I call it my original area, or the area that I'm from, because it's where I grew up. The area that, you know, is like my childhood area where I grew up. So you've got Wolverhampton, and where I grew up, it's like the total other side of Birmingham. It's a town on the outskirts of Birmingham. So I ended up moving back to that area where I'm from. So yeah, I was pregnant with my son in this bedsit in a small area near Wolverhampton town centre. And this dude I was living by, he wasn't the reason why I ended up eventually moving back out of Wolverhampton back to my. It wasn't because of him, and it wasn't because of any really wasn't because of harassment. The very reason why I ended up moving back out of Wolverhampton, okay, was because, you know, the thing, right, with the NHS, right, with social services, right, I've come to obviously realise all this through going through these different experiences. With the NHS, with like social service, not so much the NHS, because obviously the NHS is there to like, help people when they're sick. Yeah. But what I mean is social services, yeah, and police, okay, and these types of organisations. Sometimes, right, you may go to them for help, or, to be honest with you, they cannot really get involved in a situation unless you give them consent, either by your word or by your written word, like your signature or something, or obviously by your behaviour. You know, obviously if you're criminal, if you engage in criminal behaviour, then, you know, the police are going to get involved. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, you know, other incidences where they may get involved, right? They can't really get involved. They can't really get involved unless you've given them your consent somehow, okay, and you agree to engage with them. So when I was pregnant, obviously you get assigned a midwife, and one of my meetings with the midwife, she said, you know, when your child's born, she goes, do you think you'd want any assistance, any help, or anything like this? And this is my first child, so this is all new to me, you know, I'm a new mother. So I just was like, yeah, I wasn't sure really what to say, yes or no. I just said, maybe, I said, yeah, maybe. She goes, okay, well, there's this organisation called Early Help. She goes, I'm going to put them on your form, Early Help. And, you know, when the baby's born, you know, if you require any support, you know, you can engage with their services type of thing. You know, more or less is what she was saying. So, okay, then whatever. So basically, when I was in the hospital, my son, he was, yeah, the hospital was like one main hospital in Wolverhampton, right? He was born in Wolverhampton Hospital, right? And so I had to stay because I had a C-section. So I was in there for about 3 days afterwards because I was in a lot of pain. And the day that I was leaving, or like the day before I was leaving, I got a text message on my phone to say, I need to contact this lady who's from social services regarding, I don't know what. So I just found it a bit dubious, because as soon as I saw children's services, I thought children's services must mean social services. And I thought to myself, why? I've just literally given birth to my child. You know, I've literally just had a baby. Why? Social services calling me, contacting me like this, I was thinking. So eventually I met the lady, and she was all like, you know, we've had I can't remember exactly because my son's 6 now, but I found out, yeah, I must have read some document, or this lady must have told me, or how I found out, I don't remember. She said, you've midwife has been saying that you've been acting delusional in the hospital, like you've been talking like you've been saying things that show that you're going like a bit funny in your head or something, like you've been being delusional. I was like, well, I wasn't acting in any way. I wasn't mentally. I was really stable when I had my son. There wasn't anything wrong with me mentally, and I wasn't behaving in any way. I wasn't behaving in any out of the ordinary way, and I didn't even hardly speak to anybody. So I really couldn't understand where this was coming from. Anyway, so I think I had a few meetings with the lady. No, the very first time I was supposed to meet this lady, I refused to engage with her. I actually locked myself in the bathroom because I just refused to engage with her. Because I think what happened was I met up with her with my son's dad, so I felt supported with my son's dad, because he was able to talk to her. And she was all like, you know, I'm from children's services, and we have to talk to you about this and that, and where you've been put in a tier 1. You know, did she mention I can't remember if she mentioned child protection order at that point or not. But basically she was like, you've been put in tier 1, so you're obligated to engage with us. Like, I have to meet up with you. I said, well, I don't understand the reason why I have to meet up with you. I've just had a baby, you know, what's the reason? Like, I hadn't done anything. Like, there's no reason for me to like meet up with you, you know. So the second time she must have come out to see me, I was at my sister's, and I refused to talk with her, to see her. And like I said, I literally locked myself in the bathroom because she was that adamant. Oh, you have to speak, you have to engage with us, you have to talk with us, this and that, ready. I said, no, I don't have to. Why do I have to talk with you? For what reason? Why are you getting involved? For what reason? I said to her. So I literally blatantly refused to talk with her. Because I refused to engage with this lady, I must have got a letter or something like this in the post to say my tier, now this child protection order or whatever it was, has jumped from tier 1 to now tier 3, which means it's become like a higher level of a child protection order. And we're going to set this big meeting yeah, and you have to, you're obligated, like you have to attend this meeting, and blah blah blah. So I just like I just literally I just had a baby, like I was happy, I was a new mother, yeah, and like, I was in a new relationship, and I really couldn't for the life of me understand why social services were getting involved like so soon, so quickly. It just really boggled my brain. So I just outright, I just said, you know what, I'm not engaging with these people because I don't need to. I have no reason to engage with these people. So, like I said, they set up this big meeting. They sent me this letter to say, oh, you know, you have to attend this child protections meeting to work out the outcome of blah, 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 blah. I blatantly refused to go, and I told my family to go instead. I said, Dad, you go. My dad's missus, you two can go. My son's dad, I said, the three of you can go, and if you know you want to go to like the monkey show, you lot can engage and do your meeting and do your talk, yeah, all about me, yeah, and my son, and rare, yeah. You all go do your monkey circus conference meeting, and I'll just stay at home, yeah, looking after my kid, looking after my baby, okay? So that's basically what happened. And then I ended up just writing this massive letter to them, to Children's Services, to let them know why I was refusing to engage, letting them know that I didn't need to engage. And I let them know that this midwife, whatever she said about me, that I was acting delusional. She said that I was talking about somebody microchipping my baby, that I said this to the midwife. Something about people microchipping my son, and that my behaviour was I was acting delusional and this and that, when I didn't even say boo to a ghost in that hospital. I didn't even speak to anyone. The only person I spoke to, I think, was my son's dad. And what she did, she misconstrued a conversation I was having. That was it. She must have said I didn't want the hospital to put tag around my baby's wrist because I was being like paranoid about it, thinking that they're going to microchip my baby. And I said absolutely nothing of the sort. Just when she came asking, can we put tag on your son, I was like, what's that for? Why do you need to do that? That's all I said to her. I didn't refuse or anything. And she totally misconstrued private, personal conversation I was having with my son's dad about I don't know, something to do with microchips. I wasn't even linking the microchip conversation with anything to do with the hospital. But she basically, you know, totally took out of context what I was saying in a private personal conversation with my son's dad. Just put 2 and 2 together and came out with 635, and then basically made up a story, told lies about me. And then because of the lies that this midwife told about me, that gave her and the hospital reason to get the Children's Services or social services or whatever involved. And I think from this time onwards, I started to understand. It was like the light bulbs were going off in my head. Like I started to wake up and understand, oh, right, this is how these people, these organisations, this is how they operate. I was like, oh, right, I'm starting to get it. I was like, I'm starting to get it now. I'm starting to understand now what they do. Yeah, it's like as a systematic process of elimination or character assassination. Okay, how they operate, especially towards ethnic minorities, especially towards black females. I was like, oh, right, now I'm starting to get it now. But yeah, like I've been saying, to be honest, I only plan really to come on here to do my video for like 5 minutes, you know, and then my 5-minute video is turning into like 10-15 minutes, and I ain't even got started yet. So I'm going to end this one here, yeah. So as I said, check out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, part 6 and 7, and let me know if you have had any similar experiences with nosy, nuisance, noisy neighbours, or any type of like misanomaly situations with social services or the police or any organisations like this. Let me know in the comment section, and I'm going to be uploading part 9, because this is just like the start of what I'm talking about in these videos. See you later. Bye.